And, of course, the winner goes on to face Baylor in the quarterfinals of the NIT. John Saunders alongside of Tim Wells. Tim, you coached 5 times as head coach in the NIT, a couple more times as an assistant coach. How important is this to these two teams?
Well, you don't want to be in this tournament too many times, but it's fun if you're in it because the balls are still bouncing and you're playing and you're trying to progress to next season. Providence hasn't been in the postseason in a few years, so this is all a bonus. Picked last in the league. They're trying to move into next season with a lot of returning players. And Robert Morris, anytime you're in a lower to mid-majors league and you're playing at this time of year, it's a plus, especially with all their recent successes.
As we go one-on-one, the importance for both of these two teams, as you said, not be happy with just that first victory.
Well, Robert Morris has 2 NCAA appearances in the last 6 years. They built a culture of winning, averaging 23 wins in the last 6 years. So they're used to playing in the postseason. But the euphoria in Moon Township the other night was super special. So they want to just keep playing and maybe even get to New York and Providence. Moving forward is such a bonus with such a young team, only 1 senior for Ed Cooley.
Let's take a look at our starting lineups, and we begin with Robert Morris and Lucky Jones back in the starting lineup after fouling out with a flagrant foul against Kentucky.
Well, Lucky Jones is the Mr. Everything for Andy Toole. He can guard smalls, bigs, wings, whatever. He got a little out of hand late in the Kentucky game, very out of hand, but out of his character, he'll be a key factor up front. And for Providence, they've got a good lineup of versatility.
And LaDontae Henton is going to be a key man because of his size and physicality.
He rebounds the ball. He's good on the baseline, shooting the ball better the last couple of days in practice. Look for him maybe to take a couple stretch threes to bring the defense away and allow Bats to score inside.
Look at the officials, and we are about ready to go. The Providence Friars, who of course finished the season on a very strong run after struggling middle of the season, actually finished up 9-9 in Big East play. And of course, Robert Morris, the Northeast Conference regular season champions at 14-4. We are underway, and Robert Morris goes right to the bucket shooting threes as Quan Williams misses that, but that's what they like to do.
They take about 22 a game, make 8.5 a game, so they're going to stretch it out, try to drive and kick and bring the forwards away from the basket and try to open it up for the guards.
Council thought about dumping it off to Cotton, gets it back. Cotton pulls up just shy of the paint. Shot clock is down to 5. Cotton launches a 3-pointer that's off the mark. Rebounded by Johnson.
Transition defense a must for Providence.
And right on the boards is McFadden. McFadden, of course, the hero of the win over Kentucky, hitting those free throws with about 7 seconds left to put them up by 2. Council, tough shot.
Better serve when he's running the team. A little bit more pressure on the guards tonight. Chris Dunn may not play. He's got the stomach bug. He's sitting there on the end of the bench. He's played so well the last few games for Ed Cooley. It's really a matter of how he feels in the next few minutes, whether he plays or not.
6 of 7 from the field and 14 points. Oh, throw down strong by Russell Johnson.
Ed Cooley said it yesterday over and over in practice. We have more size, but will we have more toughness? Robert Morris clearly out-toughed Kentucky early in this game. They're taking it to the rack.
And a quick strip by Johnson as well. And ahead of the pack, missing a layup. Johnson goes after the rebound. Flyers out of there with the Council calling for it, but Hinton gets it, leans in, and he'll go to the free throw line. Andy Toole in his 3rd year as head coach. Former assistant here under Mike Rice. Just stayed on as the head coach, and former player at Penn under Fran Duffy as well. What does it mean for him as a coach and for this team to have won that game against Kentucky? It almost seems like they come out with a little bit of extra pep to their step.
They had an edge, and I asked him, I said, what did you take from that game as a basketball coach? He said, well, our team, because, you know, I thought looking at the tape that we could play with them and being at home clearly was an advantage, but our kids, I'm not sure they believed it, but when we jumped out 10-zip and John Calipari had to call a timeout and they came over to the bench, they said, okay, coach, I think we can win. I think, you know, this is no big deal. We can play with Kentucky tonight, and they clearly did.
Got off to that 10-0 run. And a little hold off of the ball. There's a look at Ed Cooley, who's done an absolutely terrific job here as head coach of Providence. Of course, he had to follow in the footsteps of a legend. So,
well, only problem when you go to one of Ed Cooley's practices on a Sunday afternoon is you better plan on missing dinner or being late, because he can talk forever and he just loves to talk basketball. And we had a good time yesterday catching up on a lazy Sunday afternoon up at the practice facility, and he has done an unbelievable job of restoring a lot of credibility to this program.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of former coaches don't have great relationships with the current coaches, but you guys seem to have a terrific relationship.
You're not human if you don't like Ed Cooley. He's one of the nicest guys around and very sincere and does a tremendous job.
Robert Morris continues to launch from outside. Russell Johnson again.
I can tell you who won't have a good relationship with Ed Cooley is his players. If they continue to guard like this, they've got to get up on the perimeter. They're one of the best, if not the best in the Big East in defending the three-point line, about 28% on the season. Right now, they're a little slow on closeouts.
And a step called against Kadeem Batts as he tried to step through the double team. A bit of a rough start for the Providence Friars.
Well, one of the things when you play Robert Morris is a little bit different. They switch 1 through 4, so your guards are going to be attacked by forwards, but their forwards are equally quick a foot and with their hands. They average about 9 steals per game, so you have to be strong with the basketball.
Anthony Myers-Pate comes off a screen and knocks down a 3.
Oh, the little deuce. The little Euro step, John, for Anthony Myers-Pate on the perimeter, and reminded of the fact from the Providence faithful, looked like a travel.
Well, another great start for Robert Morris. Remember, they started with a 10-0. Welcome back to the Dunkin' Donuts Center, where Providence Friars looking for early answers right here. Council into the paint, hangs, and there's a big collision underneath, and that'll be a foul on Robert Morris.
An important piece of this game so far, not only Providence's inability to get out and close out on the three-point line, but they're bothered by the peskiness of Robert Morris' defense. And Chris Dunn, Ed Cooley tried him for a couple minutes, but looks real sluggish. As we all know, the feeling of the stomach flu is difficult just to get up off the couch, let alone go out and play a basketball game.
Now, wait a second. Didn't Michael Jordan play one of the greatest games of his career with the stomach flu?
That's what he said. That was a great storyline. I'm not sure I buy it, but it goes to the myth of the legend.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, and there are many. Belton Jones has had shoulder issues and tried to limit his minutes somewhat. And he's going to be a key if they're going to win this game.
Carvel Anderson here with the ball. He's playing with a broken wrist.
Well, this time of year, if you don't have some sort of injury, there's something wrong with you, right? Now looking for the pass outside to Cotton, and Jones, Belton Jones commits a little foul.
Providence, though, has to continue to be strong with the ball, because when they drive into the gap, you'll see the defense, and we'll break it down later, is they really attack the basketball, so the drive and kicks will be open.
Bats turns around, rattles it down.
Such a smooth touch. Just kind of not on balance, but a lot of power and a feathery touch in the lane.
An offensive foul off the basketball. So it'll be Friars basketball when we come back, as Providence tries to creep back from that early season deficit. 9-5 deficit to Robert Morris.
Chris Dunn back in the game, giving it a shot. He's so important tonight because the defense right now is bothering Providence. They're not a great passing team outside of Vincent Council, so they need that extra guard on the floor to handle the pressure.
Well, over the back.
That was a good play coming out of the timeout. They need to isolate Batts. He has a big advantage on the inside. The main thing, though, is space space the court around him so he has one-on-one coverage.
Hawkins picks up that foul. Cotton trying to swing it back outside, fumbled around, and the pass, last touch by Providence. Friars are looking for an overrule. I don't think they're going to get.
Well, the problem here is that they're very uncomfortable running their offense right now. They have to maybe space the floor a little bit, let Council handle the ball, and try to weave their scorers off more screens on the baseline.
And this time it's Robert Morris that fumbles the basketball. Johnson just couldn't grip the ball. Looked like he took his eyes off it before trying to get that pass. It's Dunn, who's working with the stomach flu. Puts it on the floor. Little jump step. Ball faked by Council. Again, last touch by Providence. Friars are like, what is going on?
One of the problems when you come in here as an opposing coach, John, is this, and I remember this going back to my days as an assistant, is that there's 4 referees. There's 3 on the floor, and then there's the fans are always going to help you out here with a lot of energy. Right now, I think just the unevenness of the offense is hard for the officials to determine because there's so many touched and deflect balls.
So we get another offensive foul down the other end. So both teams having problems getting their offensive flow.
I think it's caused a little bit by nervous energy on offense, but mostly by just aggressive defense. Both teams want to get up in your chest. And Providence's main goal tonight on the defensive end is just push Robert Morris off the three-point line. Get up in them, find angles, so they push him inside the line, make him shoot contested twos, and don't help on the driving kicks.
That's 3 on Hawkins, and already then we get the offensive foul at the other end, which happens too often. Kadeem Batts picks that one up, but Robert Morris has 16 fouls already.
Well, Batts got in foul trouble the other night in a win over Charlotte, and Providence doesn't have the front court depth. That's one thing they have to do is keep Batts in the game.
Johnson on the floor and back into the paint. Or swinging it out to McFadden. Thinks about a 3. Ball turned over, and the foul committed quickly by Jones. That's the 7th team foul with 14:23 to go here in the first half.
I don't see much there. He just reached in and grabbed the ball, but officials sometimes I think they think they're getting paid by the foul call, and it looks like that tonight. Already in the one-on-one.
Well, with that in mind, already in the one-on-one, if they're getting paid by the minute, then they're probably going to get a few extra bucks too, because
I like the noon games, John, because they have those 4 o'clock flights they have to catch, and you can always count on a quickie. But the 7 o'clock, there's no late flights, so they don't care.
No, hotel room and room service. That's what's coming up next. Josh Fortune's going to come in for the Friars. Cotton goes to the bench.
Well, both teams better adjust because this game is being called very tightly. They've got to back off their pressure some.
Dump down into the paint. Patton loses the handle. Pops off his hands and out. Council takes it to the glass, but has it swatted by Johnson.
Well, Russell Johnson is such an athletic forward. He can step out and make threes, but in transition, on the retreat, never gives up on the play. And Council needs to go a little stronger to the rack.
You ever try and teach your guys to try and keep those things in play?
It's so hard when you're flying from the weak side, but
it's especially hard when you try and sweep it into the 10th row.
Like we were saying today on the 30 for 30, the old Ralph Sampson days.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, if people haven't seen Survive in Advance, make sure you watch that. Oh, great little pass down ahead. He just throws it down.
Well, that's Providence at its best. Vincent Council weaving and bobbing through the defense with his head up, not looking to score, but looking for an angle for an open teammate.
That nice jump step and into the paint for a jump hook.
That's why Robert Morris is so difficult to defend. They have a lot of player movement and good ball movement, but their forwards are very active and athletic.
Council underneath tries to spin it back outside. Has it picked off. Johnson almost has his pocket picked from behind. Lucky Jones. Stripped but out of bounds. Last touch by Providence.
You see Council here with his head up, John. He's always looking when he drives the baseline to keep his dribble and cutters moving to the basket. It's so important when he drives the baseline that his teammates find open angles as the defense shifts and adjusts.
Outside shot, no good. Rebounded by Hinton.
Council is going to have to do a lot of ball handling tonight. You're going to see that ball in his hand 80% of the time in the half court, because without Dunn on the floor, they have to find a way to free up Cotton.
Fortune. Freshman can't get that to fall. Oh, great job to swing that into the corner. And once again, the three-point shot for Karan Williams is good. Robert Morris loves that three-point arc.
And you have to get back and set your defense, stop the ball, and attack from the ball side, or else they will make you pay on the driving kicks.
Fortune driving and comes up short again, and Cooley doesn't like that too much, seeing the freshman try and take over. Out of bounds. A little contact there, but no whistle. Men's ice hockey skates towards the Frozen Four with regional semifinals in Grand Rapids and Manchester beginning Friday at 2 Eastern on ESPNU with streaming live on Watch ESPN. Find information on every championship at NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships.
That's out of the game. I'd like to see them post up Hinton down low, see if he can get a mismatch with one of the forwards. They're doing a lot of switching. He's got a guard on him currently. They'll double on the box as well.
Cotton trying to orchestrate things, hands it off to Dunn. Dunn. Jump stop into the paint. Good.
Oh, take that, Michael Jordan. I can play with the flu. Chris Dunn has just come on in the last month for Ed Cooley. Showing a lot of heart tonight, getting out on the floor with the stomach flu.
Well, one of the things about being sick, and I'm sure you played sick as well, is you get that adrenaline going a little bit, and it kind of heals you up a little bit. Great lean in.
Just the presence of Dunn on the floor. A little smile there, and Hinton out in transition. That's when Providence is so difficult to defend, because they just push the ball and attack the rim and fill the lanes.
Myers Pate. Lucky Jones. Myers Pate looks to drive, goes to the left hand. It's short. Oh, nice jump down to Hinton. The council says, let's go, crowd. Got a nice crowd here tonight.
Oh, that was a textbook fast break. They filled the lanes. You had Hinton on the left, but that play was really made not only by Council's push, but by Chris Dunn occupying defenders on the weak side.
High screen. Goldsboro stepped out on that. McFadden turns on the baseline. Drops off the other side of the iron.
Well, Vincent Council again looking like he's got a pop in his step, being a leader on the floor.
Cotton. Tipped back by Hinton. Kept alive by Hinton. Goldsboro. Face up.
That's where Providence, though, can put so much pressure on every aspect of your defense. In the running game, they're terrific. half court with Cotton. They go inside, but then on the offensive glass are the best offensive rebounding team in the Big East.
And Dunn gets called for holding Lucky Jones.
Well, again, fast break basketball at its best. The leading assist man in the Big East, and an easy finish for the lefty from Lansing.
After a sluggish start, let's go inside the play, Tim.
Well, Vincent Council is clearly one of the best point guards around and leading the fast break. But first, he does it with his defense, John, on this play. He blocks the shot on the recovery here on the backside, and then the quick outlet, and then the lanes being filled. And here, as we see Council cross half court, we see Chris Dunn on the right, we see Dante Henton on the left. They occupy 3-on-2 on the defensive end of the floor, and Council with his head up draws the middle, goes one way, looks the other. Classic fast break basketball, 3-on-2.
What'd you call the Dante Henton again?
The lefty from Lansing.
I'm going to credit you with that one. Providence fell down in this one early, 9-2. And Robert Morris hasn't helped themselves the number of fouls they've committed.
Not a lot of people talk about with Dante Henton. It's Vincent Council with the assists. It's Bryce Cotton with the threes. It's Kadeem Batts, the most improved player, but really an important piece. Second in the Big East in rebounding in conference games.
Friars on the break. Cotton. And quickly attacking the bucket has been a help and a big reason why Providence has gotten themselves to the line.
When they turn the Jets on, meaning Vincent Council, they are so hard to defend because he's great in the open court. They just attack you. They put you back on your heels, and they fill the lanes well. And when he's playing unselfishly, Providence can play with anyone. And that's why Batts and Henton are so important, because they give you that physical presence on the defensive end of the floor where they complete the play with the rebound and then the quick outlet.
Reese Kofani's going to get a little look here as Dave Cooley goes deep into his bench. But Cooley's still in discussion with the officials. There must have been something wrong with the check-in. No time went off the clock. Is that? Yeah, Kofani's got to wait. There had been no time go off the clock, and you can't substitute unless some time's gone off the clock.
Here's what Providence will show you: a multitude of defenses here, extending the pressure a little bit. But what Robert Morris has to do, they have to get into their flow. They have to reverse the ball a little bit, attack this Providence pressure into the gaps, and try to get some open threes.
Again, Robert Morris is trying to attack. That time Anderson. Field goals and turnovers. Dead heat right now. No, it's not a stat you coaches like to see.
No, it's not. But the important piece of all of the stats right now is this is Robert Morris' first free throw attempt of the game. So they have to get to the line and attack, not just settle for threes. And give Providence defense a lot of credit for not biting on the driving kicks, and they're keeping Robert Morris out of the lane.
Very good free throw shooting team is Robert Morris. He's about 75%, so it's a good job by Providence not to send him to the line if they get any of the credit. Council, a nice job to swing the ball towards the baseline. Cotton's trying to lose his man. Batts dumps it off and a travel. Ball on Council.
Robert Morris switching defense at times confused Providence a little bit, and that's where Bryce Cotton has to continue to move and weave off ball screens and baseline screens, because they're going to tag him and stay attached with him. They're not going to leave Bryce Cotton alone on the perimeter.
Welton Jones. Jones gets it back. High screen.
Good job by Bancroft on the denial to Applon.
Anderson cans that one just inside the lane.
Well, that was really good offense by Robert Morris. Ball reversal, a lot of player movement, difficult to defend with so many interchangeable parts.
And again, another foul off the ball. Goes against Robert Morris. Second round of the NCAA Women's Championship continues tonight with regional coverage on ESPN2. Nebraska facing Texas A&M, Kansas against South Carolina, South Florida against Cal, and Iowa State against Georgia. The NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship presented by Capital One tonight at 9 on ESPN2. All 4 games also available live on the Watch ESPN app and the WatchESPN.com. Kadeem Batts, you mentioned, Big East Most Improved Player. Shared that with Michael Carter-Williams of Syracuse.
Extending the pressure, not letting Robert Morris get comfortable. But in the last possession, did a nice job of moving the ball, moving the men, setting a lot of weak side screens for the open shot.
Jones. He gets called for travel, leaving his feet on the ball fake. Under 8 minutes to go, and Coach Andy Toole doesn't like what he's seeing from the guys in stripes out there.
Teams with their bags packed tonight here at the Dunkin' Donuts Center to head to lovely Waco in the morning for a Wednesday night game.
And they definitely want to make that trip. We talked to other coaches early in the NIT, and they all told me the same thing. Win one game, and then the players get interested.
Exactly. And I think that's mostly true, but I think both these teams were, we all know how interested Robert Morris was. Kadeem Batts is interested tonight, but Providence was fiery against Charlotte earlier in the week as well. We're excited to be back in the postseason.
That's a great point. Robert Morris was interested from the jump, from the time they got the bracket.
The time the game said sold out.
Jones comes up short, rebounded, almost chases it down, but that'll belong to Providence.
Elton Jones likes to take that little ball fake into the lane, but looks like that shoulder's bothering him just a little bit with his ability to finish at the rim.
Hinton pulls up his dribble. That swings it back out to Hinton with a look at its free. It comes up short.
Providence having a little difficulty throwing the ball down to the low box to Kadeem Batts because Robert Morris is flat fronting him on the low post.
Lucky Jones to Velton Jones. Fadden with a little fakes, comes off the ball and buries it.
Again, real good ball movement and player movement by Robert Morris, and Providence has to adjust quicker and quickly on the weak side on the attack to the rim. They've got to give better help.
Entry to Batts, uses the glass a little too strong.
I like the play there. They've got to go down to Batts. He has an advantage. They can't ignore him just because he's being fronted.
Velton Jones with the pass and knocked down by Karan Williams.
Well, that's Robert Morris at its best. We've seen Providence at its best in transition, but Robert Morris loves those dribble handoffs, those backdoor cuts, the pick and rolls on the wing. Very difficult to defend if you're not staying low in your stance.
Council tries to answer right back. Rattles around, won't stay down. Look at Hinton go skying for that rebound.
Robert Morris, as they move the ball, that side pick and roll, so hard to defend a two-man game, and on the weak side, Providence very slow to help. Batts comes out to show, but Hinton backs away. He's got to meet the ball outside the lane. And then again, on that little down screen on the side, Cotton not in his stance, slow to recover and close out.
I think Ed Cooley was a little bit unhappy with the officials on that last screen. He thought maybe there was a little hold.
He's also talking to Bryce Cotton about being a little tougher. He's got to match the toughness of Robert Morris guards. I mean, that's paramount tonight. Right now, Bryce Cotton's having difficulty with the aggressive way on both ends of the floor of Robert Morris on the perimeter.
Providence comes with some full court pressure. Token. Myers Pate almost lost that out of bounds. Fadden chases it down. Lucky Jones. Johnson drops it down to McFadden, who misses the baseline jumper. Foul underneath going against the Friars. Dante Hinton's second. The team's 5th foul, so Lee Goatsboro is going to come back in.
Providence has to do a better job of just slowing the attack down from Robert Morris. They're so difficult to defend because they've got 5 out on the perimeter. It's unlike any team they've got defended all year, and again, too slow.
Carvel Anderson just on the inbounds play got an easy look.
If this continues, even though Robert Morris has a great ability to shoot threes, I look for Ed Cooley to mix and match and play some zone just to slow Robert Morris down.
Cotton trying to answer back. He's off mark from the time he left his hand. I get it. The crowd doesn't agree with any call, do they?
Oh, they're very loyal here, John. Very, very loyal. Small state, you have to stay together. It looks like they got that one right.
Yes,
off
it
bats. Does. Bryce Cotton just rushed that shot, though. He's got to gather his feet, extend up in the air. That time he kind of fell backwards and sideways.
Johnson with a drive and then a little fade back pull-up.
Robert Morris is smallish in size, but not in heart and toughness. And they have that ability to put everybody on the perimeter, which is giving Providence a lot of trouble.
Last touch by Robert Morris. Velton Jones had a little bit of a little tender touch. Council pulls it back out. Orchestrating and tells Bats to go back. Just drive on the clear out. Gets bumped. Well, Robert Morris, they weren't impressed with Kentucky. And thus far, not impressed with Providence either. Welcome back. John Saunders alongside of Tim Welsh. Council going to the line, trying to cut into a 5-point deficit.
This is the only way they've been able to manufacture any consistency tonight is get to the free throw line in their drives to the basket. Been pretty strong with the ball, but they haven't had any flow to their offense. And getting the ball inside the bats is so important, because if they get it inside the bats, that'll open up the outside for Cotton, because Robert Morris will send the double team down low.
Now 13 of 14 from the line. And 13 out of 25 points, getting more points from the line than they are from the field. Johnson hounded by Bancroft. Bancroft's an energy guy, comes off the bench and puts his nose to the grindstone. Lucky Jones to McFadden. Ron Williams shot off the mark. What we call a held ball, and possession area will give it to the Friars.
They have to rebound by committee with Henson on the bench with 2 fouls. Clearly lost their advantage with their physical presence inside.
Josh Fortune's going to come back in.
This is so evident right here of the great job Ed Cooley's done. When you just look at the limited numbers he has tonight, you have a situation with foul trouble with Henson. You have one player with his head down on the bench and done with the flu, but he was somehow able to get this crew to 9 wins in the Big East.
Especially after the start they had. One of the best turnarounds at the midway point in Big East history. Cotton loses his dribble. Johnson comes right out on him, and Council comes to rescue him. Council pulls up at the free throw line. Oh, what a great job by Goldthrow to go up and grab that rebound.
Yeah, he's a big piece of this team, especially in the last half of the season when Sadiki Johnson was let go off the team. Goldthrow started to get minutes, and he became a glue guy off the bench.
First field goal in over 4 minutes for Providence. Ron Williams. Now that's Johnson with a face-up look.
That's good ball movement by Robert Morris, but bad defense by Providence. Vincent Council lazy on the closeout. Didn't get a hand up. They're just all over Bryce Cotton. They're tagging him, they're locking trail, they're up in his hands. Look at the help on Cotton. 4 guys on the drive. Johnson
just changed that thing up. Fortune couldn't stick it back. He had a good look at a loose ball, but a little long with it. And it belonged to Robert Morris.
Well, this is where Bryce Cotton has to have his head up. I mean, they are just attacking him. There's 4 or 5 defenders around him. He's got to have his head up and make that pass.
Goldsboro sticks it back. Oh, and tapped around. Fortune put his hand in there. Is that to say that was me?
First guy with the hand up gets credit, John. You learned that in 6th grade. A good effort by Fortune and the rest of the Friars on the glass.
Providence within 2. Robert Morris is steady with their offense. McFadden comes to set the screen. Back out to Johnson. Just a little short. Council. Almost lost his footing there. I think he slipped.
And the driving kicks, they have to kick the ball to the perimeter. You see, they attack the ball in the paint. They've got to make that extra pass.
Bats lost it on that pass. Robert Morris wants a timeout. 1:16 left in the first half. Coming up on the college basketball halftime report, Chris Cotter and LaFonso Ellis will be stepping by with some stories. They'll be talking about the NCAA tournament. We'll look ahead to.
I'm glad I'm not in that profession anymore,
you know,
because if that's the way it is a sad state of affairs, because not only 2 great coaches, but 2 classy guys who represent their programs, their universities, and their communities at the highest level.
And who care about their kids.
Absolutely.
You know what, my friends? Stay in this profession, okay? Ron Williams gets bumped and pushed by Bancroft. That's still just the 6th team foul on Providence. So the next one will send the 1-and-1, where the Friars were in 1-and-1 with about 15 minutes left.
Well, Providence has done a nice job defensively. Their problem has just been offensively handling the pressure.
Oh, Bancroft caused a little collision that forced a turnover, and Cotton comes up and makes them pay.
Well, that's where Cotton is special, John. He can put up points very quickly out of nowhere, and he just ran to the line. He said, no, thank you. I'm not passing. I'm taking a 3.
Ron Williams. 3-pointer's good.
And that's where Robert Morris is so good. You talk about 23 wins a year for the last 6 years. That's why they just bring guys in who can play hard-nosed. They share the ball, and they have a lot of answers on the 3-point line.
You talk about a team reflecting their coach. Andy Toole, after that turnover and bucket, very calmly got up off the bench, yelled out a play, got the 3-pointer. Players ran it just with the personality of their coach.
Great defense by Robert Morris on Cotton.
1 second left as Cotton releases it and buries it.
Playing conventional Big East teams with a couple forwards or a big guy. And here you see Ed Cooley's trying to slow Robert Morris down. We talked about it early in the first half, maybe playing some zone. He starts the second half in.
Nice job of bouncing the ball down into McFadden. Johnson with the entry pass.
And that is a sign of a well-coached basketball team there. Didn't panic, didn't freeze when they saw the zone. They got into their set. They went 1-4 across, went right into the high post and dove McFadden down to the box, and Providence had trouble matching up.
Well, Dunn, we told you, has the flu, and that foul's going to make him sick because it's his third. Coach Ed Cooley content to leave him in.
I think he probably has to leave him in right now. Just warmed up. Once you warm up, as we all know, you're a little sick. You've got to stay warm out there on the floor. Give him 2 or 3 minutes just to get going here in the second half.
Dunn picked up. Ron Williams on the ball. Cotton. Council with a drive. Pulls up. A little too strong. Comes right back to Council. Finds Cotton.
That's 12 offensive rebounds to 0 for Robert Morris.
Cotton with a drive and swings it back out. Dunn was ready to go to the glass for a rebound. Batch trapped underneath. Finds Council too strong.
Nice recognition by Batch. Council just a little off balance.
Myers-Pate sends it outside. That ball from Williams rattles around but won't drop.
Communication so important for Providence defensively. They've got to get back and match up a lot quicker. They were fortunate that Robert Morris misfired from the 3, wide open.
Council creates some space, finds Batts. No one underneath but Robert Morris for that rebound. Myers-Pate. Johnson gets bumped as he's driving. That foul's on the floor. Dante Henton picks up his 3rd foul. So the foul's ironically starting to mount on Providence here in the second half.
Well, Russell Johnson, Lucky Jones, Mike McFadden, they're all face-up forwards, and they can go down low and make things happen, but they also can all step outside and take you off the bounce, and Providence have a little bit of difficulty defending those forwards right now.
Johnson, that'll be over and back. Johnson saying it was tipped. Unless there was an invisible man, I don't think that one was tipped.
One time on the shift, Providence was out of position, but Robert Morris trying to attack a little bit too much quickness instead of the normal pace against the zone.
Anderson comes in for Williams for Robert Morris. Cotton, Council, and Dunn. Just weaving, then a pass underneath.
And that was a great example of Robert Morris. What they do, John, is they switch 1 through 4 out there on the floor, and as Cotton came through on the wing and Dunn went through on the baseline, they switched, and Providence didn't identify and got confused offensively.
Cotton, Council, Dunn, and Fortune on the floor, so Ed Cooley going small as well. Council tries to muscle that one up, but he'll muscle his way to the free throw line. The journey to the Frozen Four in Pittsburgh continues with regional semifinals and finals from Grand Rapids, Manchester, right here in Providence on Saturday at 4 on Eastern on ESPNU, ESPN3, and streaming live on Watch ESPN. Find information on every championship at NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships.
Providence Friars anxiously awaiting their fate. See if they get an NCAA bid.
I watched Providence on the air somewhere the other night, Providence hockey team.
They have a very, very good season. Outstanding coach in his second year, Nate Lehman.
One of the very first schools ever to recruit me out of junior hockey was Providence. He had a great player from our town.
Well, tremendous tradition basketball-wise. We all know that, but very good tradition as well in their hockey program.
Johnson. Can't get that to drop on the iron. And then Council. Oh, real zip on that pass to Dunn, and it goes out of bounds.
We can't fault Council or Dunn on that one. We just the right idea. And if Vincent Council is pushing and looking in transition, that's when Providence is at its best. That's what they have to continue to do.
Fadden scratches man in, and again both teams very aggressive attacking the iron. Myers-Pate gets fouled, gets popped on the head.
Well, continuous motion, that's what Robert Morris likes to do on offense, and as they move the ball and move the men, if you trail coming off down screens, they find those angles into the lane, and the bigs have to come over and give help a lot sooner, or else you get in to what happened there. Get into their body and put them on the line.
This Robert Morris team was knocked out of their conference tournament by Mount St. Mary's. And this guy did his part. Anthony Myers-Pate at 15 in the contest.
And they struggled early in the season. They were the favorites coming into the season, but they didn't have the attention to detail that 82 wanted, and they struggled out of the gate. They found their way in mid-January.
Keith Armstrong a little overly aggressive on backs.
That's his second.
Armstrong second.
Dalton Jones checks in, replacing Anthony Myers-Pate.
Yeah, Dalton Jones comes in for Anthony Myers-Pate. Guard for guard. Backs. Oh, wow. What a great right hand.
Well, when Kadeem Batts finds that space and gets an angle around the basket, he's so hard to defend because he's got a great touch.
Providence has their first lead since it was 21-20. Lucky Jones dumps it down to Armstrong. Nothing doing.
Armstrong, the freshman.
Cotton for three.
Usually you have your big man as the trailer. When Bryce Cotton's trailing, you better be aware that he will just catch it, lock and load. Well, Bryce Cotton can put him up. Rick Pitino and Rick Barnes, Pete Gillen, just tremendous coaches here, tradition. And I was just made aware that I made a mistake earlier that the Friars got snubbed. They were left out of the NCAA tournament in hockey. The bids came out last night, so they were on the bubble. I assumed they were getting in because they had such a great year, so I wanted to correct that.
I thought they were getting in as well.
Disappointment. So into the NCAA and NIT, I wasn't aware that the bids came out last night, but I just assumed they were in. Never assume when the NCAA has anything to do with bids.
Well, the basketball Friars are still working, and so is that guy, Bryce Cotton.
Well, I don't think there's any more of a confidence-building type player. When he gets into a rhythm in a game, he can get points in a flurry, and we're seeing it right now from Bryce Cotton.
Ron Williams misses. Rebounded by Dunn. Oh, Dunn with a tough pass that hit its mark and Batts. The Batts just couldn't handle.
Well, Bryce Cotton again. We saw it at the end of the first half, made his first three, and now he's come out into a rhythm, and that spells trouble for Robert Morris.
And the pressure, Robert Morris beating it as Dalton Jones brings it across.
That's the thing, you can never relax with Cotton. He's constant movement, and he makes a couple, and he just wants to keep shooting.
Ron Williams into Dalton Jones. Little shot fake, loses the handle. Lucky Jones knocks down the jumper.
Good awareness there by Lucky Jones, and that's why he's so hard to defend as well. He can make shots from that spot or take it all the way to the rim.
Council swings it to the baseline. Watch bats and a little reach-in foul against Velton Jones. 3 on Velton Jones.
It's interesting, Providence, they do a nice job of manufacturing shots for Bryce Cotton because he's a smallish off guard, but they do a good job of running him through a multitude of screens, but he gets a lot of stuff on his own out of transition, just running to open spots. Played point guard early in the season as well for 10 games with Council was out with a hamstring injury.
Oh, done. He's feeling better.
He's feeling better, and he's looking better as well. In the last month, he's shown why he was a high school All-American and why the future is really bright here in Rhode Island.
Jones. Oh, just calmly nicked the 3 over top of done.
One thing I can guarantee is that this team will not quit. Andy Toole won't let them, or Velton Jones and the tough players of Robert Morris. They have developed a winning attitude, so they're going to hang in and still battle back in this game.
Velton Jones just begging his teammates to dig in on defense. That's McFadden with quite a battle down there. Shot clock goes under 10. Cotton. Just long. Strong rebound by Bax. Sticks it back up and in. Goldsboro chases that down. Oh, what a great job to pick that off by Russell Johnson.
Just getting dominated on the glass, but still hanging tough.
Oh, what a
physical play.
Jones to McFadden.
That's why this game is interesting and fun to watch, because both these teams, they seem to get knocked on their backside a little bit, but they keep getting up and attacking.
That's one where, you know, even as an unbiased observer, you wish you had made the dunk on that, because it just would be such a great play.
This is what Robert Morris likes to do, drive into the gap and draw the defense. Most of the time when they drive into the gap, they kick it out for a 3, but McFadden has the presence to attack the rim.
And if he knocks down the free throw, it'll be just as if he did make the dunk, right?
Not as exciting. Just ask Florida Gulf Coast. When they go to the rack, they finish.
They have 11 dunks in their first 2 games. Which is interesting, because if you we mentioned survive in advance. If you watch that, Phi Slamma Jamma had 13 dunks against Louisville in the semifinal.
That was quite a weekend, to say the least. Not only in the wins, but the way they did it. Beating Georgetown and San Diego State. It was an exciting brand of basketball.
It was. Golden throw, dumps it down. Hinton. Coverage of the Division I Men's Basketball Championships regional semifinals begin Thursday on CBS and TBS at 7 o'clock. For more information on tournament game times and listings, go to ncaa.com.
Well, again, that's why Providence is so hard to defend. They put a lot of pressure in a lot of different spots on the floor. Transition to the rim, the threes out of transition, the wing attacks, the half-court sets for Cotton, but also the post-ups inside. And that time, that was a special for Henton isolating in the middle of the lane.
Pressure. Bancroft comes with that.
Has to take advantage. This has to be the time with Bats on the bench with 3 fouls.
Anthony Myers-Pate takes steps. this game goes to Waco, Texas to face Baylor in the quarterfinals. Council spins in the lane and sends it back outside. Hancock by the close pro. Knocks down the open shot.
Well, that's Providence giving Robert Morris a little taste of their own medicine. Good ball movement, good player movement, spacing, and the extra pass.
Lucky Jones. Johnson thought about the entry and swings it back outside. Tough defense by Providence. It will still belong to Robert Morris, but with just 11 on the shot clock. The Providence Friars have their offense moving, and they lead by 6.
Well, John, one of the things that makes Bryce Cotton so dangerous is he's constant, perpetual motion with the ball and without the basketball. He's very dangerous. You've got to get up in him. Size bothers him. If you're smallish, he'll elevate over the top in transition. In the half court, he finds open seams. Great chemistry with Vincent Council in transition and off screens. Does a nice job of reading screens and never stopping a tough out.
Bryce Cotton with 15 points in these 3 for his last 3 threes. It's a lot of threes in the sentence. Trying to beat the shot clock, but there is still 7 seconds left on clock. But just the same, that's the MO for Robert Morris.
Well, we were just talking about during the break. What's Providence doing? Well, they're defending the 3 better, but you cannot relax because Robert Morris will not relent. They will keep attacking and look to go to the line.
That's Carvel Anderson and Ladante Hinton with the left hand.
And Providence clearly right now, they're going at Cotton, but they're also going inside. They're spacing the court and trying to isolate Hinton, doing a nice job of finding angles.
Anderson feeling it, and why not? Pulls up inside the arc this time.
He's got a quick release. He reminds me a little bit of Bryce Cotton. He's got that movement with the ball and without the ball, and that quick elevation.
Council looking for a post to open up. Dante Hinton bounces it once off the iron, but it won't drop.
That's the 3rd possession in the last couple minutes where Providence went right into Hinton. And with bats on the bench, I like the idea. They've spaced the floor with some shooters and a lot of movement, and they've set some baseline screens. Ed Cooley understands and has identified that as they send players off the baseline, that Hinton on the switches is going to get a guard matched up with him on the low box, and they've taken advantage.
Both teams have 7 players that have put points on the board. Spreading things around, if not evenly, at least amongst the group of players.
Both these coaches very attentive to scouting. You can see they know each other very well, even though they have never played each other, because of the fact that you've seen them switch their schemes and try to take advantage of mismatches. Right now, Providence going inside.
Surprises anymore when you're scouting the team. Walton Jones, McFadden gets it back, steps back, and his shot won't drop, and then the foul committed underneath. Lucky Jones. 7th team foul with 10 minutes left. Providence into the bonus. We're seeing a little bit of the same of what we saw in the first half. Not quite as quick, but still pretty quick. It was 14-23 into the bonus in the first half. And in the second half, right at the midway mark.
I can tell you one thing, this isn't like a Big East game. Those are not fouls in a Big East game for sure.
Nobody's bleeding, right? That's not a foul. Fadden for the handoff. Waits for Johnson to come through, then he peels off. But quickly covered.
He's doing a good job of pushing up on angles and forcing Robert Morris inside the three-point line.
Belton Jones with 6 on the shot clock. Anderson drives in. Hinton goes up and rips that rebound away. Oh, not sure why that pass was made. Looked like there was a layup there for Council.
Well, defense first for Providence, and then on the attack, a little bit too much mustard. Lay it up.
4th foul on Lucky Jones. So he heads to the bench.
Take the 2, John.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is one of the all-time great assist men in college basketball history, pretty much. 713 career assists going into this game. That's a Providence record.
So you don't get extra points for degree of difficulty.
No, but you do get an extra assist.
Yes, that's true. Well, I think early in the year, Vincent Council his thought process was lead the country in assists, and maybe he backed away from that a little bit, and down the stretch he started running the team like one of the best point guards in the Big East. And that last possession, Providence did a tremendous job of pushing out on Robert Morris, almost allowing dribble penetration into the gaps and staying home on the perimeter on the three-point shooters, not allowing a 3.
Providence trying very hard to deny that entry pass. Belton Jones dumps it down to Armstrong. Hands it back to Jones. Goes in, and nice job to lay it off the glass.
And that's what happens. That's the counterattack of Robert Morris, understanding that Providence is up in their grill on the perimeter, not giving help off the ball. Really concerned about the three-point line, but as they move the ball and move the men, the lanes are going to be open to the rim.
Council thought about going over the top to Bax. Council gets it back with 10 on the shot clock. Council swings it outside, and Hinton.
Hinton was a solid three-point shooter a year ago. This year, very inconsistent, but shooting the ball much better as of late. And Robert Morris, right back at you.
Carvel Anderson with a 3.
Got to get your comments in quickly talking about Robert Morris, because they will come back and attack the line and make you pay.
Team that makes over 8 3-pointers a game. Done. Oh, to Hinton.
Well, we talked about the importance that Chris done at the outset, playing with the stomach flu, but he gutting it out, and to his credit, Ed Cooley's happy.
Robert Morris, of course, winners against Kentucky in front of 3,444. I can't believe there wasn't a 445th in here. They had to shoehorn that many people in though.
I think that might have been a violation of local fire laws.
The capacity is about 400 under that. So, oh, great pass into McFadden. He gets bumped. That's the 4th on LaDontae Hinton.
Well, that's an important moment here for Providence, how Ed Cooley handles this. It's so difficult to defend, and you see the quick little bump, and that's the way the game's been called. But Hinton, be careful
on the floor, and they recognize it. Go right to McFadden.
If you're going to stay on the floor, you have to play the complete game, and Ed Cooley has a decision to make. And Hinton's so important offensively right now. He scored 11 out of Providence's last 15 points.
he's got to be careful even on things like that, losing the handle of the basketball. Robert Morris with the push. Anderson for three. And then to the crowd.
Why it's the crowd, but unbeknownst to me, Henton has a little chest bump, but almost gets his arm taken off down the other end, and there's no foul. That's what Ed Cooley's saying, and I agree.
Tough shot for Council. But even so, he really has to be careful, right?
You have to be careful, and this you see there, he backs away, and Ed Cooley recognizes that he's playing a little soft on both ends of the floor because he's so concerned about the 4 fouls. He's going to put Goldsboro in the game.
Dante Henton's not happy to come out, but it's been so important over these last 10 minutes of the game. They got to save it.
Robert Morris puts so much pressure on you to defend a lot of different positions because of that constant movement and the ability of their forwards to step out and put the ball on the floor. That I think it's a smart move by Ed Cooley, just to let him cool off and get a little bit of a feel, especially with the lead.
The corner, Johnson with a face-up look at a three that's good. And Robert Morris regains the lead. A rich tradition here at Providence. And looking to match that here in 2013. Got a little work to do tonight. Come up with a win, and they'll be headed to Waco, Texas to face Baylor in the quarterfinals. And then a trip to Madison Square Garden, perhaps.
Providence been into Henton. They have to go into bats as they are right now. He's got to attack quickly.
Bats, nice job to protect the basketball. Misses the jump hook.
They ran one of the same plays they were running for Henton. They went quick hitter into bats. He's got to identify, find an angle, and try to get closer to the rim.
Well, Jones into McFadden. Quickly shut down. Jones, nice shot fake, but traveled. I guess it wasn't as nice as I thought.
That's his move. That's why he's so difficult to defend. He comes off with movement. He can knock down threes, but he's got that old school ball fake that just a little bit shuffles the pivot foot. The Hawkeye of Nathan Farrell got him, the official.
So an 8-0 run right now by Robert Morris after falling down by 7. They've grabbed the lead again.
Look for the high-low here. Henton back in the game. Little two-man game inside. Henton and bats.
Foul. Well, Jones could hit with a foul. That's his 4th. And that's a foul he'd like to have back. You don't want to reach in on that.
You have to pick your spots defensively when you can go in and reach, and that's not one that's advisable.
It also sends Providence to the line, so not only picking up his 4th foul, but possibly giving Providence 2 points.
Well, you have to know where you are on the floor and when to use your fouls. If somebody has an advantage against you, sure, you take a foul, but also who you're playing against. And 2 out of 100 times are you going to take the ball from Vincent Council's mitts just standing there on the sideline.
Council missed his last 2, but he knocks those 2 down. All 7 of his points have come from the free throw line.
That was a gift for Providence.
We're back on top. Johnson handling the basketball finally. Dumps it off, and this time Cotton will get hit with a foul. That was a terrific job by Anthony Myers-Pate to swing underneath the arm of Cotton.
Well, that's what Bryce Cotton has to understand, where he is on the floor as well. Providence's scheme tonight and their philosophy has been pressure on the three-point line. So in that possession, Anthony Myers-Pate was a good 8 to 10 feet above the line, and plus he is not a three-point shooter.
He is an 80% free throw shooter, so that's rare for him to miss that badly. He got a foul off the ball again. This time against Karan Williams.
Karan Williams is trying to lock and trail, and it's a tough defend on the wing with Cotton because he's so good at going both directions off the ball. But that time he just hooked him on the backside. That was a good call by Bernard Clinton. And you hate to see so many fouls called, but the referee's standing right there, and the defender just wraps his arm and almost umbrellas him around the backside. He's got to call that.
So the last 4 points for Providence coming at the free throw line after trailing by 1. They've grabbed a 3-point lead. Tough handle for Keith Armstrong.
Andy Toole wants Armstrong to handle the ball in that spot. He's in there as a screener only.
Myers Pate. Karan Williams with 7 on the shot clock. And the foul goes underneath against Bats. That's 4 on Bats. Well, Dante Henton, who has 4 fouls, is going to come back in.
Ed Cooley clearly has to manage the clock and offense-defense right now. Probably doesn't have the ability to keep Bats and Henton in together on the defensive end of the floor because of the mismatches that Robert Morris presents.
Armstrong, freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, has found his way to Pennsylvania.
That's what Andy Toole's done. He's gone out, he's ventured out, recruited guys like Pavel Anderson from Indiana. And people know who Robert Morris is.
Great hands by Johnson to tip that away. Providence just got very lackadaisical with the ball.
And you can't. Robert Morris, 9 steals per game. They are going to be feisty right to the end, and they do all the switching, but they're so active with their hands on their closeouts.
Johnson, little fake, puts it on the floor and gets blocked. That's 5. Robert Morris turning up the defense, and right now a little frustration because of foul problems for Providence.
Because they've been winning for years. 2 NCAA tournaments in 6 years, 23 wins a year. Started by Mike Rice. Andy was the assistant, but they've continued the winning tradition at Robert Morris, and Andy is a bright young coach. Just going to his practice, he's always constantly teaching, very serious, but also has that side that you need in today's society as a coach, where you can understand the younger players of today.
Just in case people thought I was serious, it's RMU serious. Chance to tie the game for Russell Johnson. Misses the shot, but still just a 1-point contest with almost 4 minutes remaining.
This is where Cotton's been quiet for a while now, and they go back to Council on the wing.
Council with a strong move to the bucket.
Well, they'll do this. They'll invert positions and put Cotton at the point and let Council attack from the wing. And usually when he does attack from the wing, he looks to find angles and he'll go back to Cotton or some forward slashing into the rim. But that time he had the open lane to the rim.
That's foul number 4 on Karan Williams. Lucky Jones comes back in, who has 4 fouls. So does Velton Jones. They both re-enter the game.
Good move by Ed Cooley going offense defense with Kadeem Fatts fouled out of the game. Now he's got LaDante Henton on the bench for this next defensive possession.
With free throw line being a friend again to Providence.
Well, we're used to playing this way, though. Bats has fouled out of 6 games, tonight being the 7th on the season, so Providence isn't afraid. They're feisty. They'll do a little bit more switching maybe defensively without Bats in the game.
Collins to Jones. Nice little move by Belton Jones, but can't get it to drop. Done to Council. Council thinks better of it and pulls it back up.
He pulled it out. It was a smart move, but not because they're trying to kill clock. They will keep attacking. That's what you like about Providence. They're not afraid on offense.
Oh, Council!
In the last 2 possessions, Providence has been going to their point guard for the points. Usually it's for the assist, but Vincent Council learned this in the streets of Brooklyn. Get it up on the rim, get the and one, find that angle. This is toughness from the senior.
And Belton Jones, who was trying to get out of the way, it looked like, picks up his 5th foul. So the senior hoping that he hasn't fouled out of what would be his final game. Northeastern Conference first team in 92 wins. If they were to win this game, would be a school record. Scoring set by McFadden, and then he rolls off of it. Trying to duck under, does. Oh, what a great touch.
A great touch by McFadden, making something out of nothing. And Goldberg did a nice job of holding his ground, not letting McFadden get an angle, but he just slithered it up underneath his arm.
Bancroft sets the screen. Cotton, a little too long. Oh, what a great job by Dunn to keep that ball alive. Cotton again, no good. Look at Dunn again with the rebound. Sticks it up.
Well, John, you can throw the time and score manual out the window when you're playing Providence. This is why they're hard to defend. They get the offensive rebound, and Cotton, what does he do? Does he pull it out and use clock? No, sir. I'm just going to bomb away and put it up on the rim because we have a huge advantage on the glass. 16-1 offensive rebound advantage for Providence. This is why they're so hard to defend when they're playing with speed, because they get you back on their heels. They'll take it to the rim in transition. They'll drive and kick for the threes. But when they miss, they're the top offensive rebounding team in the Big East.
Free throw, taking advantage of the trip to the line as well. Even Dunn thought he missed that and was in.
Here's where you can't relax if you're Providence, though, because this Robert Morris team is not afraid. They will drive and kick and use that three-point line to get back in this game quickly if they can.
There's Pate. Nice drive, comes back out. Jones got it. Well, chased down by the Friars.
Bad offense by Robert Morris. Just a real force that time by Carvel Anderson. They don't need to force plays, but they did on offense. Give Providence defense a ton of credit.
Ed Cooley wants a timeout with a 6-point lead with 1:36 remaining. Ed's been an offensive force in this second half.
And Ed realized he has young, aggressive players in Chris Dunn and Cotton where they just want to go. He's going to spread the court here, but if he finds any angle, he'll go right to the rim.
Robert Morris's ability to shoot the three, they're never going to be out of the game. Cotton hands it off, wants it back, goes to Council, bounces it down to Goldsboro. Johnson, offensive foul.
Well, we all know about Council offense, but it's been Providence's defense down the stretch. First, locking up Robert Morris from the three-point line, and now on penetration. Goldsboro giving up his body for the win.
In the Watch ESPN app.
When you have that man on your team right there, Vincent Council, you have to take advantage of his abilities, and that's what Ed Cooley has done tonight. In the open court, spread the court, a lot of movement, and let him attack.
And Robert Morris goes right to the foul. Trying to stretch the game out some. Down by 8. Only a minute 3 left. They can't afford just to hunker down on defense and let Providence work the clock.
Give that Cooley's team credit tonight because they've taken advantage where they had an advantage, and that's been inside and at the rim. Early in the game, they had a little bit of an adjustment period. The first flurry of defense that Robert Morris threw at them on the perimeter, but they settled down. And Chris Dunn playing in this game, gutting it out with the flu, was a key component because he gave them that extra ball handling that they needed to go against the pressure of Robert Morris's guards.
It was an early 9-2 start for Robert Morris because they were having all kinds of problems with that. Jones. Lucky can't get it to fall. Cotton leaks out ahead of everyone. Largest lead of the game for Providence coming here in the final minute. The putback is no good. Robert Morris has to foul. They come up with a steal instead, which is even better. Anderson from outside, no good. Johnson with a look. Off the mark. Bancroft probably should have pulled the string on that one. And then a foul committed by Dunn.
There's a lot of different ebbs and flows to this game, but I think Ed Cooley deserves a lot of credit for the way he managed the minutes of his team in deep foul trouble. Henton and Batts fouling out. Dunn not starting the game with the flu and being able to change the pace of the game by going inside and being physical against Robert Morris.
Dante Henton's going to come in. Vincent Council, the senior, playing his final game here at home.
Well, again, Ed Cooley was preaching to his team yesterday. There's no question about it, we're going to be bigger, but are we going to be tougher? And there was a question of that early in this game, but not in the second half as Providence kind of willed its way to this win.
Robert Morris putting the pressure on, but not going to foul. This one has been decided. The Providence Friars are going to march on here in the NIT.